Let's bring in military analyst, retired Air Vice Marshal Sean Bell. So, Sean, do we know why Lukashenko has picked this moment? Of course, so soon after another diplomats' meeting between Russia and China to visit China.
You're never quite sure whether it's at Lukashenko's beckoning or it suits China's beckoning, to be fair, but they'll discuss a range of topics during the three-day visit. Almost certainly the 12-point plan that China came up with for the peace will probably be discussed, as also will be potential for China to offer weapons support. But the most likely agenda behind all of this is that China's relationship with America has sunk to a new low after the spy scandal around the spy balloons. And actually, the Chinese will almost certainly judge that by opening conversation with Russia and Belarus will encourage America to soften its stance to China to try and make sure that balance works. In Belarus, though, it's not all going Lukashenko's way. A Russian military aircraft was at a military base in Belarus, very close to Minsk, the A-50 mainstay here. It was attacked by anti-government forces. There were some drone attacks, 2 explosions heard, one that apparently damaged the front, one damaged the middle of this aeroplane. These are strategic assets. They're the eyes and the ears over the battlefield for Russia. They've only got small numbers of them, allegedly about 7. They've lost 1 more. So undoubtedly this will impact Russia's military capability.
Well, let's talk about both sides' military capability and give us an update on the ground and Russian forces tightening their grip around Bakhmut.
There's a lot of fighting all the way along the front line. Up to north of Crimea up here, the fighting continues, but the Russians, by all accounts, have made some advances, but it's very difficult to actually get those corroborated. But as you say, the main effort around Bakhmut here, the pincer seems to be tightening. Russian forces are moving, seem to have the north of Bakhmut and a lot of the south as well at the moment. Interestingly, the Kromov, which is actually to the west of Bakhmut, there's a road Bakhmut to Kromov here, which is a way of providing resupply to Ukraine. That's now coming under fire from the Russians. So it looks very likely that it won't be long before Ukraine will have to make the difficult decision about whether to stay or go. The other thing that's in the news today is about Mariupol. We haven't talked much about that since it fell back in May last year. But actually, ever since the 21st of February, there's been 14 different explosions around Mariupol, including attacking some of the artillery weapon dumps there. Not quite sure what's caused them. It could be resistance fighters, it could be special forces, it could be long-range weapons. But undoubtedly, all of that, even though it's 80 kilometres away from the front line, seems to be softening up Russian logistics, potentially ready for some spring offensive.
And the other story that we were focused on earlier is that President Zelensky has removed one of his top military leaders. Talk us through the thoughts behind that.
Yeah, Major General Eduard Musgavyov, who's the Joint Forces commander, been in place ever since March of last year. So he's done an amazing job. There was no explanation of why President Zelensky got rid of him. Now, it's quite usual to rotate military commanders during war. The pressure on their shoulders is immense. You often need fresh ideas, fresh impetus for the war. Also, at times, the political military pressure, that causes friction. They're not always going to agree the political objectives he's trying to achieve and whether the military price is worth paying. Honest answer, we don't know. But there was only a one-liner associated with this, which is highly unusual, but it almost certainly reflects the very difficult situation that the Ukrainian military find themselves at the moment.
Sean, as always, thanks so much.